So this is the second video for 2A. So you're still checking out 2A in your e-text and using understanding if you need some more examples. And we're going to focus on what's called unit analysis. So this is just the process of working with the units to help you solve the problem. So instead of seeing them as the enemy, now they're your friend. So let's work through a few of these. Let's say you want to find the hourly wage for a job if your monthly check is this much money and you've worked this many hours that month. So our three-step problem-solving process says we've got to understand the problem. So I have to see the word hourly wage, recognize that's what I'm trying to find, and realize that that is an amount of money per hour. So now I know I have the things I need to work with, right? I have an amount of money that goes for that month. I have the number of hours for that month. And I know that per means division. So to solve the problem, I'm going to put the dollars because that's money, right? Then I'm going to put the divide because that's per. And then I'm going to put the hours because that's what comes after per. And when I divide those, I get 7.5. And then notice this dollars. And then I'm going to change my divide to per. And then I have my hours. So this number simplifies to that number. And then the units stay as they are. I can't simplify dollars divided by hours. Then step 3 says I need to explain my result. So 7.5 isn't really what we want to see. We like this better, right? $750 per hour. All right, so that helped me use the problem and use units to solve the problem. Example 2, ground beef costs $3.25 a pound. How much would it cost to buy 6 pounds? So, understanding the problem, I would like to know how much it costs to buy the whole thing. I know how much I'm buying. I know how much it costs per small unit. So, how do I solve the problem? So, what we can use is addition. What I'm going to use is multiplication. I'm going to understand that this $3.25 a pound is actually $3.25 per pound. And recognizing that unit is per pound and knowing in my answer I don't want pounds anymore, I need to multiply by pounds. And this problem presents me with 6 pounds. So remember, this is the same thing as adding 325 6 times, which may have been a way you thought about solving this problem. I can cancel pounds and pounds, they're close enough, and then simply multiply 325 by 6, and that gives me 19.5. Pounds are gone, I'm left with just dollars, so step 3 is to say that my answer is that it would cost me $19.50 to buy these 6 pounds. Another example, storage pod has a rectangular floor that measures 7 feet by 9 feet. Definitely not drawn to scale. Its ceiling is 5 feet high, and I'm not drawing in the 3D. What's the perimeter of the pod? What's the area of the pod? What's the volume of the pod? If the monthly cost is 46 cents per square feet, how much would you spend each month, each year? And there's a part F to this. What I want you to do is pause this video and work through these steps. And then you can come back and check your answers. See what you got and what you didn't get. All right? Pause. All right, so you're coming back to your video. Here are your answers. Hopefully you remember to put units in them and you got some of them correct. If you got them all correct, you can fast forward this video a little bit to where I start talking about Unit 3. If you missed any of them, let's check out how that went, why things may have went a little sideways. So remember, perimeter is distance around. There are fancy perimeter formulas, but I don't really need a perimeter formula. I just need to add the distance of all 4 sides, or the lengths of all 4 sides. And when we add these, we can add them because they're all the same units. And so I can add all 4 of the numbers. I can add feet and get 32 feet. Now remember, I don't do anything weird with feet when I'm adding. Say you had 2 apples and you're adding 2 more apples and you're adding 2 more apples and you're adding 2 more apples. Those are just apples in the basket, right? You haven't got some kind of mutated apple squared from that. It's apples. So here it's feet. What about area? Area is going to be 7 feet times 9 feet. Now, if you've got some type of a weird non-rectangular shape, you may need a fancier area formula, but rectangles are our friend. And so that's 63 from 7 times 9, and feet squared is, or feet times feet is feet squared, as we saw in the last video. What about the volume of the pod? To find the volume of the pod, you can actually do 63 feet squared times the height, which is an interesting way of doing this because I know the total coverage on the bottom, and I just need to multiply it by how high it is to see how much I need to, quote unquote, fill it. Or we can use an old formula, which is volume is length times width times height. And I can multiply 9 times 7 times 5. And I didn't write my units, but I am thinking about them in my head because in a minute I'm going to have to recognize that this is feet times feet times feet, so I get feet cubed. We talked about it, but an answer isn't really an answer without units. It's just a number. So if the monthly pod cost is 46 cents per square foot, how much would you spend each month? So I have the price per unit, and I already know how big it is. I solved that in a previous step. And the question is, how much would I spend total? So I'm actually going to start with this weird price per square foot thing. So this is 46 cents. And you may want to write that 0.46. Actually, I'm going to, because I don't want my answer in cents. I want it in dollars. So I've written it as 0.46 now per square foot. So if I want just dollars left, unit analysis tells me I got to get rid of those square feet. Where is square feet? For this pod, the answer for square feet is 63 feet squared. If you tried to multiply by something else and you left off the units as you worked it, there you go. Problem solved. Don't do that, okay? Write units if you're not entirely confident that you remember what they are and you know that they are they're going to help you, and they are going to help you. How much would this cost each year? Well, it helps that I recognize that this was a monthly cost last time, so I'm going to pay this every single month. So this is actually technically $28.98 per month, which I'm going to multiply by 12 months per year, and that will give me $347.76 per year. But we're not doing unit conversions yet like that, so we're going to pretend like we don't know. F, what if the monthly cost is 0.003 dollars, cents, I don't know, it doesn't matter, per square inch? Can we calculate this with what we currently have? Heck no, we cannot, because we don't have square inches, and it's really a little bit of a pain in the butt to get square inches, and so we would need to do kind of a crazy unit conversion to get there. And that leads us into part 3. So whether you were with us for all of that fun or you're just now joining back, here we are at unit 3, or part 3 of this section, unit conversion. So unit conversion is just the process of multiplying by fractions that are equal to 1 in order to get an equivalent value in new units. Now, one of the best ways to get something equal to 1 is by knowing what equals what, and then putting one of those on top and one of those on bottom. Now, it does have to be an equivalent value, so I can't do anything crazy, not allowed. And I'm going to be in new unit. So I'm going to change from, say, volume to volume. I'm not going to change from volume to area. That's not a conversion. That's not equivalent. Some unit conversions are simple. You don't need some fancy process to figure out 9 feet is how many inches. Well, I know 9 feet is 9 feet. I'm going to run out of room. Okay, we're going to pretend like those are all feet. And that each of those is 12 inches. So I can add 12 inches 9 times. I can multiply 9 times 12. Either way, I'm going to get how many inches there are. It's 108 inches. I can also convert 28 inches to feet, not too much crazier. So I can say the first 12 inches is a foot, the second 12 inches is a foot, and that leaves me with 4 more inches. So I can say that this is 2 feet 4 inches. I can say that this is 2 1/3 foot. I can say this is 2.3, however many threes I'm supposed to, feet, which leads us to a really big idea. I hope you're all with me right now. Sometimes we have to state our answers very specifically for our homework software to recognize it is correct. Okay, remember step 3 of problem solving is to explain your results. This means giving someone the answer in a way that it's actually beneficial for them. So sometimes we need a real specific answer, and I better write it exactly as a fraction, or round to a lot more decimal places just to be a better value. Sometimes it doesn't really matter, and a short decimal will take care of what I need. Money only makes sense when we round it to cents or dollars. I want you to think about it. Have you ever been frustrated because someone gave you a really weird number and it led you to confusion? Like right now, the internet is full of stuff, data. And you can read some reports, and one person uses percentage points, and someone else uses parts per million, and one person uses increases, and one person uses averages, and one person uses parts per hundred. And it makes all their data look so different because there's power in how we communicate with our numbers. And when we get to be kind of lazy, or that person that just hits share too much on just whatever pops up because we like the byline, and we don't apply critical thinking to our values, we can be manipulated by that. And I hope that that scares you a little bit. Not in fear, but in the I want to fix this. So watch out for things that are communicated strangely. I've said that before, but there's a good chance there's a reason they've used strange data. They're trying to confuse somebody. Maybe they're not really good data calculators themselves. They're trying to distort some things. So keep that in mind, and don't get mad when my math lab says, hey, you need to answer this a specific way. It'll tell you in blue what that is, and you're practicing communicating in a way that helps other people. Good luck.